breadth-first search is a little more complicated. To do breadth-first search, I have to invent a data structure that's going to remind me where I'm up to. So the goal of breadth-first search is I want to print music, Beatles, Who, Kinks, John, Paul, George, Ringo, Pete, John, etc. Okay? So go all along one level and then go down to the next level. So to do that, I'm going to have a queue. There was an XKCD last week about words with a lot of vowels. That's one of them. So for the purpose of this exercise, something with a triangle drawn around it means the tree that has this as its root datum. So to start with, my starting conditions are going to be that my queue is empty. Okay? And I'm going to call breadth-first search iter. It's an iterative algorithm. Oops. Here it is. And, oh, I'm sorry, my queue is not empty because I call breadth-first search iter with list tree. A queue is just a list. I'm going to stick things in at the back and pull them out at the front. So my initial queue is the music tree. Okay, that's my queue to start with. Now, what do? I say, is the queue null? No, it isn't. So now let task be car of queue. So task over here is going to be the tree music. Now, what does it mean to deal with this task? Well, so I'm down here. Oops. There's got to be, oh, I see. I'm pushing the wrong button. There we go. So I'm going to print the word music. And now I'm going to make a recursive call with a new queue in which I append cdr of queue, which is what? What's the cdr of this? The empty list. It's not a tree at all. It's a list. The queue is a forest. It's a list of trees. So if I take cdr of this queue, it's empty. So I'm going to append to the empty list children of task. Task is a tree, so it has a children. What are the children? There's the Beatles tree. There's the Who tree. And there's the Kinks tree. Okay? So that's my queue. Now I'm going to say, I'm making the recursive call to BFS iter. Is this queue empty? No. So let task be car of queue. So task is now the Beatles tree. And what do I do for this task? Well, I print datum of the task, which is Beatles. So I printed music, I print Beatles. And now I append cdr of queue, which is now more interesting. It's not empty, right? It has Who and Kinks in it. And to that I append children of task, which is the John tree, the Paul tree, the George tree, and the Ringo tree. Okay? So that's my new queue. Now I take car of queue, that's Who, that's the task. The new queue is Kinks, John, Paul, George, Ringo, Pete, John, Heath, Roger. I got it this time. Okay? So do you see how this generates a depth-first search? I'm going to handle all the siblings of beetles before I handle any children, because all I do with the children is stick them at the end of the queue. End means I'm going to get to them last, right? Because I'm taking things off the front of the queue. Queue, by the way, if you don't know the word, is British for line, as in standing on line at the bank. That's what a queue is. So things come in at the back and they come out at the front. Otherwise known as last in, last in, last out. First in, first out. Yeah, first in, first out. That's a queue. Okay. So this procedure, it's only a little bit longer. It's 6 lines instead of, 8 lines instead of 3 lines. But it's a lot more complicated because I need this auxiliary structure called a queue. I have to understand how that works. Notice that, by the way, as an exercise in data abstraction, we use car and cdr for the queue, but we use datum and children for the task because each task is a tree, whereas the queue is not a tree, it's a forest. Okay, so don't make either mistake of data abstraction, too many datums or too many cars.